We are back here for you this evening. I'm live now from Fox. I'm your host, Mike Page. Thanks again for joining us. All right, we want to get now to New York City for a crime update. Real serious story where they are looking for an individual that's accused of killing two elderly people. Take a look at who they are looking for. Police have identified the suspect in connection to a house fire attack in Queens that killed an elderly couple. Authorities say they are searching for 42-year-old Jamel McGriff, who is considered to be an armed and dangerous career criminal with a criminal history spanning over 30 years. The police commissioner Jessica Tisch today said McGriff went to the Olton home asking for assistance. Surveillance video shows 76-year-old Frank Alton speaking with him outside before allowing him inside. Tisch noted that there was no prior relationship between the suspect and the victims beyond this encounter. According to the FDNY, the fire began on Monday just after 3 p.m. at a home near 200th Street and 87th Drive in Bellerose. Officials say a flame started on the first floor and quickly spread through the house. About 60 firefighters responded and brought the fire under control within an hour. Inside the home, first responders found 76-year-old Frank Alton in the basement tied to a pole with multiple stab wounds. His wife, 77-year-old Maureen Olton, was found on the first floor with severe burns. The Oltons have lived at that residence for decades and raised their family there. Officials say their son, an FDNY EMT, was alerted to the fire by the home's ADT alarm system and responded to the scene as well. And here's just some more visuals of that suspect who they are again saying is armed and dangerous. Jamel McGriff, this suspect is wanted for a double homicide in Queens. He is considered armed and dangerous. If you see him, do not approach and call 911 immediately. If you have any info, contact NYPD tips or call 1-800-577-TIPS. And so police say McGriff is also wanted in connection with two robberies earlier this summer there. So now what we want to do is play out the police alert on this suspect from a little bit ago, right here on Live Now.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on some short notice. We are here today to provide updates on two ongoing investigations and to request the media's and the public's help with one of them. First, at this time, the NYPD is searching for the suspect in a horrific double homicide, robbery, and arson that occurred in the confines of the 105 precinct on Monday morning, September 8th. The person responsible for this crime should be considered armed and dangerous. The NYPD and our law enforcement partners are actively searching for the suspect, and we are now asking for the public's help to locate him. Based on video images obtained at and around Monday's crime scene and a positive ID from the suspect's parole officer, we are looking for Jamel McGriff, male, black, 42 years old, with a last known address at 2524 Creston Avenue in the Bronx. Mr. McGriff was last seen on video from earlier today pawning two cell phones at 385 Fordham Road in the Bronx wearing a black T-shirt. The incident details are still under investigation and preliminary at this time. Here is what we know so far. Video obtained from the Bellerose neighborhood of Queens on Monday at approximately 10 a.m. shows the suspect approach a home and speak to an occupant. Witnesses state that the suspect claimed that he needed assistance, that his phone battery was dead, and he was asking if he could enter the house to charge his phone. At this first house, the suspect is denied entry. He then proceeds on foot to a second house, the incident location, which is 8786 254th Street. At that house, video shows the suspect interacting with the male victim, and it appears the suspect was allowed into the backyard. At approximately 10:18 a.m., the suspect and male victim are seen entering the rear door of the residence. The suspect is next seen on video exiting the house 5 hours later at approximately 3:08 p.m. and walking eastbound on 87th Drive. At that time, he was wearing a black hat, a black jacket, black sneakers, and dark blue jeans, and carrying 2 bags, one light-colored paper bag and one dark-colored duffel bag. Additional video then shows him walking northbound on Little Neck Parkway towards Hillside Avenue. About 14 minutes after the suspect was seen on video leaving the residence at around 3:22 p.m., the fire department responded to the location after being notified of a fire there by a member of the victim's family. Once the flames were under control, 2 victims were found deceased inside the home. 76-year-old Frank Alton, who was the one seen on video interacting with the suspect outside, and Mr. Alton's wife, 77-year-old Maureen Olton. Mr. Olton was found in the basement, tied to a pole with multiple stab wounds. Mrs. Olton was found on the first floor, severely burned. At this time, there is no known connection between Mr. McGriff, our suspect, and our victims beyond this chance encounter. The exact causes of death in this case are still under investigation by the NYPD with assistance from our fire marshals. McGriff has a lengthy, violent criminal history stretching back 30 years, including multiple robberies. He is currently out on parole for a first-degree robbery he committed in 2006 after serving more than 16 years on that conviction. He then failed to register as a sex offender in November of 2024, which should have violated his parole, and he is also wanted by the NYPD for 2 other recent robberies committed in Manhattan, one in July and one in August of this year. Investigators from the NYPD and our partners on the Regional Fugitive Task Force are working around the clock to locate and to apprehend Mr. McGriff, and we appreciate the public's and the media's assistance here. If anyone sees Mr. McGriff, please do not approach him and call 911 right away. Again, this individual should be considered armed and dangerous. If anyone has information about Mr. McGriff's whereabouts, please call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-577-TIPS. For the public, the message is clear. The suspect's MO is to go door to door, asking for some kind of assistance until he can gain entry. So do not allow anyone you don't know or who you are not expecting into your home. Our hearts go out to the victims and their families, including the victim's son, an active duty FDNY EMT. Turning to our next topic. Based on threat reporting, which typically increases this time of year around the anniversary of 9/11, the UN General Assembly, and the Jewish high holidays, we are monitoring threats against New York City critical infrastructure, including bridges and tunnels connecting Queens and Manhattan. As always, we take all threats seriously, and we are working with our federal partners through our Joint Terrorism Task Force as we investigate. Out of an abundance of caution, we are surging resources, and you can expect to see an increased police presence at critical infrastructure locations. We'll now take on-topic questions. I think that is all we can say at this time about the threats.
The robberies you mentioned that happened this year in July and August. Can you give us some more details about that?
Sure. Chief Kenny will do that.
The robbery that took place in July took place in the confines of the two-way precinct on 125th Street and Lenox Avenue, in which the perpetrator, Mr. McGriff, entered a GameStop store, produced a pistol, and robbed the store of U.S. currency. The one that took place on August 31st took place at a Verizon store at 600 Avenue of the Americans, where once again he asked to see some merchandise. He forced the employee into the back room and announced a robbery at gunpoint. This employee noticed that the firearm appeared to be fake and fought the perpetrator off. Yes, he had been checking in regularly, and this parole officer is actually did a great job for us, not on one but two occasions, because he also did the identification for us for the robbery that took place in the confines of the 13th precinct, which was the Verizon store.
And New York Post summary.
The suspect had an arrest from November of last year for failing to change his address on him, considered a sex offender, which resulted in an DAT. Is his parole officer notified after that encounter?
That I'm not aware of if his parole officer was violated, but certainly the district attorney's office was.
And we're going to go to Alabama.
Commissioner, you mentioned a family member called about the fire. Was that the EMT? Is he the one that found his parents, or was it?
The EMT was notified by ADT, which was an alarm system, that there was a fire at the residence, which caused the son to respond.
All right, folks, thank you very much. Thank you.
Right, and that was the NYPD update. Again, this is who they are looking for, Jamel McGriff. And again, this is the picture there. He is a criminal. And again, continues to have that history of 30 years more of incidents associated with the police history.